On the 25th of September 2021, Manchester City and Chelsea Football Club met at Stamford Bridge, and Pep Guardiola would not lose to Chelsea for the fourth time in a row. In the end, it was a deserved win for the visitors, and we will talk about it today. But before we continue, please do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and more importantly, click on the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. So, let's get into it. In what may be one of the worst performances under Thomas Tuchel, Chelsea lost to Manchester City in front of their home fans by a lone goal. And I'd argue that it wasn't because of Tuchel's selection, and neither was it because of the formation. Yeah, it wasn't all Thomas Tuchel's fault. So, what happened? Good question. Let's take some time and talk about what I believe happened during the game. First of all, Manchester City pressed aggressively, and more importantly, they pressed strategically. And they were so good at their pressing that they were able to cut off the passing lanes for Chelsea players who, whenever they tried to progress the ball, didn't see spaces that they usually do during other games. So they either go sideways or backwards or just lob the ball forward to avoid losing the ball in their own area. In fact, Manchester City's pressing was so strategic and effective that it was clear that Pep Guardiola started preparing for the game immediately after the Champions League final loss to Chelsea in Porto. And it was as if the Manchester City players knew who every Chelsea player would want to pass the ball to. So they did their best at cutting off the passing lane. And again, I'm saying this, they started preparing for this game immediately after the Champions League loss to Chelsea. Okay, now another question is this: was it because of was Chelsea's poor performance because of the formation? I would say no. It wasn't because of the formation, and it wasn't because of the players on the pitch either. The truth is, Chelsea weren't just a match. They were not able to measure the level at which Manchester City played that day, and I need not say more about that because the difference in the performances of both teams were there for everyone to see. Okay, now if you're still arguing that the problem must have been the formation, you must remember the formation did not change after Gabriel Jesus' goal, and Chelsea played better afterwards. If the formation changed, I did not see that. Let me know if that was the case, please. Now, let's go into the what ifs, because we are Chelsea fans, and whenever such happens, whenever we lose a game to a competitor or to a London rival or to a team like Manchester United or to Manchester City, there's always an argument of which I call what ifs. What if something, what if the player B or player A or player C had started the game or had played, what would have been? Now, the truth is, what if Callum Hudon Odoi came on for James instead of Thiago Silva? Okay, what if that happened and things would have been, and the outcome of the match, believe me, would have been worse. Also, we must remember that Callum Hudon Odoi was awful in the Carabao Cup against Aston Villa And as such, he didn't help his case for a starting place in that game. So I wouldn't blame Thomas Tuchel for not starting him. Now, what if Loftus-Cheek? How about Loftus-Cheek, who was brilliant when he came on? What if he started the game, or what if he came on earlier than he did? Would he have made a difference? The truth is, he was great when he came on, but again, there's no way to measure how much of a difference he would have made had he started the game, or if he came on, if he came on earlier than he did. Yeah, Manchester City were that good. Okay, what if Mr. Chelsea himself, who was out injured, Mason Mount, what if he was available and he was selected? Could he have made a difference? I don't think so. Manchester City was so good that Mason Mount wouldn't have made a difference either. Again, City were that good. So it wouldn't have mattered who started for Chelsea and who didn't start. And I must say, no excuses. Now, that is, by the way, there is an issue with our squad that many people don't seem to recognize. The truth is, yes, we have a big squad, but we have a big squad with too many players that do not really offer anything different. For instance, on the flanks, only Callum Hudon Odoi and Christian Pulisic have shown that they can take on opponent players, dribble past them, and outpace them if need be. Almost every other player in our team needs space to operate, and when there's no space, they seem to struggle. Talk about Hakim Ziyech, talk about Reece James, talk about who else in the team. It's all the same for them. They need space to operate. Even some people in our midfield also do need space to operate. Without space, they seem to struggle. So, like I said, it wasn't about the formation. It wasn't about the players on the pitch. Chelsea were not just able to measure the level at which that Manchester City played on that day. And like I've mentioned before, they seemed to have started preparing for this game after the loss, the loss to Chelsea in the UEFA Champions League final. And we would do the same had it been us. Now, overall, one could argue that a loss was inevitable, and it is still early days in the season, so I'm not really concerned. And more importantly, the loss is a lesson in time, a lesson just in time, if you like, for Thomas Tuchel and his boys going into the season. So, and I believe Tuchel is smart enough to learn from the game and avoid a repeat of such horrible performance, because that's I don't think Chelsea board and the owner tolerates such poor performances when it becomes a habit against the big teams. And that is it for me, and that's all for me today. So get in the comment section and let me know if I missed anything, if there are other things you observed during the game that I did not talk about. And please don't forget to smash that like button to help the channel grow, and subscribe if you haven't. And again, more importantly, click on the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. Again, my name is Coachila, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers.